Amyr.
Good morning, Simon. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad at all. So
Good. Today we have an interesting topic today.
We do. It's one that we come across every single day of the week. I don't know about
you and I and Jason at the office, we talk about it all the time. And you and I were talking about the next topics, the topic lists for the videos that we're planning on putting together here. And we thought we haven't talked about this yet. And that seems like we're missing something.
So introduce away.
Absolutely. Well, this is all around the unfortunate numerous scams that are out there with regards to all sorts of weird and wonderful things within the financial services space. And unfortunately, more and more, these criminals, these scammers are getting more sophisticated, and they're really getting good at targeting people that sometimes are finding themselves in a spot of vulnerability.
Yep.
And unfortunately are being able to scam people out of their hard-earned money. So today the topic is for us to just open that up as to how we see it, how we think about it, and maybe some things that our listeners should be mindful of when they see some of these incredible offers come in front of them from all sorts of places.
Yeah. Do you know, the only one thing I'd question when you said that is when you say vulnerable, none of us think of ourselves as vulnerable. I'm not a vulnerable bloke, but I've come so close on a number of occasions. So I get the blindingly obvious phone calls on my landline every day of the week, it appears, from someone claiming to be from Amazon Prime. The rush is they're about to charge me another £80, or chap from BT who's telling me my internet is down and all I have to do is go to the computer. And so these are the ones where I have a bit of a chuckle and it's obvious, but so many of them are just very close to the truth. And you could
Absolutely. And, you know, we do training at the office, and the whole team does training at the office to be able to spot that when it comes to scammers that are trying to, unfortunately, you know, take over an email or try to take over a particular system. And you're absolutely right, Simon. They are getting cleverer and cleverer and closer to reality. What we're seeing is people that know exactly how to speak on the phone. They know exactly the sort of words that to use. They know how to try to portray themselves as being from your bank or from your internet provider or from a bona fide financial institution that you might have an account with. We're also seeing emails that more and more are coming through that actually look very similar to the sender of origin. Emails that are portraying to be from Amazon talking about one's account, or about from your internet provider, or again from your email provider saying that you need to do certain things to be able to keep up with security. And they are so close, so good, and so close at mimicking the actual provider, the actual original sender, that it's easy to fall for. And I'm with you, Simon. When we say vulnerable clients, I guess I'll use that phrase not just thinking of people that are finding themselves vulnerable because of a life situation that has made them maybe not see things as clearly as they did before, or because of a mental health issue that might be happening at the moment. I'm talking about guys like you and I that at that moment will find themselves vulnerable to such a good scam, to such a good mimicking email, that unfortunately it's just too easy to fall foul of these things.
It is. And you know, that they're often trying to rush you. They're often trying to encourage you. They often maybe catch you when your guard is down. It's Friday night, you're having a glass of wine, you get a little SMS on your phone. It just says that you need to click on something from your bank, and you just have to say, no, hold on, there is no rush. Because one of the things that we've learned through the training is that they often mimic being someone that you know, but they create a false sense of urgency.
Absolutely. And we always say to clients that you're never going to get a sense of urgency from us at our office, and no other financial institution that you're a member of, or even internet provider, telephone provider, any service provider you pay money to subscription fees to be part of. If you think about it rationally, none of them should ever put yourself in a position of urgency. That there surely isn't any service we sign up for that really needs you to do something in this minute. So I guess I would urge our listeners to just always take that approach when dealing with these calls. If it's somebody calling from your bank and saying, hey, Simon, you need to answer these questions for me to talk to you. Well, hang on a second. How about I put the phone down, and how about I call my bank? And yes, that's a little bit of hassle, but at least that's me calling the number that I know is my bank's number and saying, I just had a call from you guys. Was it genuine? And if so, let's go through security and how can I help? But you know that you went through a bona fide channel to get to that message. Yes, it's robbing 10, 15 minutes of your time, but it's saving you so much headache if that was actually a scam in the first place.
Indeed, one of the scams years ago, I think it's now been changed. I think these days, if a call comes through on your landline and you put the phone down, I believe you can disconnect the line these days from both ends. Only a couple of years ago, if the scammer had left the line open, you could happily call a number thinking you were calling your bank. So what I'd say is put that phone down, and in an ideal world, pick up a different phone.
Absolutely.
Genuine website that you know to be true. So the things I would say to look out for are any sense of urgency. If you get an email in particular, hover over the address of the person who's sending it. I received one the other day from a friend saying, "Hey Simon, is this you in the photo?" And actually, when I hovered over, this friend of mine called Laura, actually it was coming from someone completely different.
Yeah.
And so you'd say hover over the email address or take a very close look at the URL. So it purports to come from a bank. Often what they'll do is just make a very slight change. It'll be www. And then it'll be, admin dash your bank, which of course is a different domain to the name of your bank. And it's just these very, very subtle differences that we need to be careful about.
Absolutely. And all it does is just ensures, yes, you're taking some time out of your day to be able to deal with this, but at least you're not easily falling for any scam. Just take a step back. Remember, no financial institution, no service you buy should ever put you in under any pressure and under any sense of urgency. So you can take a step back, think about the origin of that email, think whether there's actually something going on between you and that institution in the first place. And if so, maybe pick up the phone yourself to that institution, or send an email yourself to that institution, but through the channels that you already know are bona fide, you already verified, you already have a rapport with. Yep. Now, Simon, there's another side of this as well, which we haven't talked about, but I think is important to mention. Of course, the digital world is becoming more and more innovative in really wonderful ways. When we think about the possibilities of blockchain technology and how that might speed up contracts across conveyancing and across any sort of legal realm in our life. I mean, these are all really positive things that are coming out there and being developed consistently. But inside those amazing technological developments, unfortunately, like anything else in life, there are going to be bad agents. And again, we're being bombarded now through the papers with Bitcoin this, or Ethereum that, or cryptocurrency this, or NFTs that. And all of these acronyms, all of these words, these buzzwords, again, are trying to create a sense of, geez, am I missing out? Yeah. Am I missing out on putting X amount of money into something and doubling it or tripling it or five timings its value? And again, all I'd say is, I know this is so simple, but it's so true. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Simon, how many investments have we seen come through our desk about student pods that are going to be let in Manchester, or about Brazilian teak farms, or about some hydroelectric power plant in Sri Lanka? These things are just always coming through our desk. Our clients very kindly share these things with us before they do anything with it. And 100 times out of 100, pretty much, it is too good to be true. Therefore, it isn't something one should dabble with, especially not with one's life savings.
Oh, good heavens, no, absolutely not. And these things are becoming more and more sophisticated. And, just before we came on this call, I just popped into Google, phishing, and I came up to Wikipedia, and the list of the various phishing techniques these days. I got slightly bored when I got past 12. There's phishing, which is social engineering to get you to reveal, interesting information, maybe about your bank, or maybe about your identity. Spear phishing, which is targeted, which maybe pretends that I'm sending an email to you requesting that you send me maybe a password that I suddenly need in a rush during a client meeting. Whaling was a new one to me. This is where the CEO of a company, so this is obviously spear phishing for big beasts, they are specifically targeted. So these are folks who are pretty switched on, also very busy. We've got clone phishing, vishing, which is the voicemail version, page hijacking, calendar phishing, link manipulation. There's a lot of this stuff going on. So without being paranoid, we just need to be very careful. If it looks too good to be true, invariably it is. If it appears to create any element of rush, they're about to disconnect your Netflix account, or they're about to charge you 80 quid for an Amazon Prime account, relax, step back, take a look before you do a darn thing.
That's it. And I think that's the absolute best advice we can give, Simon, because you're right. When we go into the weeds of it, some of it is so technical that it actually creates a bit of a paralysis by analysis. What would I do in that situation? But just by doing those two things you said, relax, take a step back, remind yourself that no, there is no urgency. Even if Netflix actually will cut your account, you can always turn it back on. And two, if it's somebody mimicking or if it is somebody you think you genuinely know, well, if you genuinely know them, that sense of urgency, you can double check that by a quick phone call, or you not replying to an email, but sending an email to that person through a channel that you have built rapport with before. Just double check if there's legitimacy behind that urgency in the first place, and give yourself that peace of mind, and to allow yourself not to fall, at least not easily fall, for these very sophisticated scams that are out there nowadays. And we thought it was important to mention it. It deserves a little video here on our library of videos about it, because this is just going to increase. The more technological development we see, the more we're going to see these bad agents trying to ruin the great that this technology actually brings us in the first place.
Each and every year, the fishers, or fishermen, if there is such a word, get more and more sophisticated, and we just need to keep our guard up. And I think
absolutely.
we can do that, Amyr.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's a pleasure speaking with you, Simon, and I hope our listeners got something out of this.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Speak to you later.
You too. Thank you.